The project's aimed at looking at how we take the creative process and work with a team of people who most of us work together already as a team, but we've also included a few associates and some people who've been involved in some of the work that we do to bring together a group of people who will then work over 4 weeks with the Camerata, looking at music, the visual arts, use of language and so on. And what we're particularly keen to look at over the 4 weeks is how that will work as a metaphor for using creative approaches to do what research actually is, of course, which is a very creative process. Sure, it sits more in the sciences, but it's also about looking at how you create and spark new ideas, how you get people working together innovative in different ways, and basically how you promote innovation as much as possible.
We started looking at individuals and how we are constantly changing, and really change isn't no big thing because change is just always occurring, and it's accepting that, or at least recognising it or noticing it. And by making a little book that challenged people's perceptions, just in terms of making things that turn upside down, or all of a sudden your ideas are going one way and then they're twisted, and you have to change your perspective and readjust. In responding to this fantastic space and the panoramic view of Manchester, which is a constantly changing place and a constantly changing population, we used that really as a visual metaphor. We looked at drawing techniques and looked how going from left to right, it goes through many rhythmical changes, and the lights and darks within that, and then the people within that as well, and the movement within that, and how people move around.
One activity that we did, we looked at a technique called voice morphing. First of all, the participants created lyrics based on personal experiences. They then worked in small teams to create a shared vocabulary, shared lyric for how they feel in terms of their business and their work, their daily life. The participants then composed melodies that went on top of their rhythmic soundscape, worked with Manchester Camerata musicians who helped them shape their melodies and embellished them, and then when we added the voice morphing on top of that, we ended up with our finished piece. You may start off with an idea, but then that idea is handed over to somebody else and changed, just like in musical conversations between instruments, for example. And again, that's something that they've now taken away and said, we should do more of that in our work. A piece of work isn't quite finished, it could be handed over to somebody else to change that report and embellish it and add to it.
So as far as the benefit for the people who've been participating, I suspect we'll find more out about this in the weeks to come. We're getting together in the next few days to actually talk through how we're going to use some of the techniques we've been learning, and some of the ideas that have developed from it, really. I suspect there's been advantages on two levels. On the one level, direct techniques and ideas that we can take and draw into the programmes of work that we're delivering. And I think we will be looking at some of the visual and musical techniques and looking to use those in some of the workshops that we lead. But I think there's also been a bit of a personal journey going on for people here too. Certainly for me personally, it's made me think about the way in which I view the world. It's got me to look at things in a very different way. It's made me realise that you can take a piece of music, get ideas for creative ideas, whether it's for music or other things, from something visual and quite flat, and actually develop that into other ideas just by thinking freely. So I guess generally it's freed up the way in which we think about things and helped us to be more innovative.